Good morning, good evening, welcome back. So elephant in the room. My voice doesn't sound right. I've been sick. I've had a really bad head cold. I'm getting over it. I sound worse than I feel. Please trust me. I do have a hot honey lemon drink to get me through. So it may be a shorter stream because my voice does actually just disappear as well. So I'm very, very sorry if, excuse me, listening to a voice like this is not for you. I get it. I totally understand. Excuse me. But one thing I do want to say is over the last couple of weeks, there's been a lot of discussion around AdSense, around how much harder it's going to be for people to get into the YouTube Partner Program from February. And so I wanted to discuss some other options because AdSense isn't the only option. There's so many people talking and it really seems like all they're worried about is AdSense. But as you're building your audience, as you're slowly growing, because some of us don't hit the required rates on this channel, I only live stream now, and I'm not going to make it unless I really change up how I do my content. I won't get this channel monetized based on previous, the previous 6 months worth of stats. I'm not nearly there. And so I was a bit like, oh man, this is so sad. I'm not going to make it. This channel's never going to get monetized, blah, blah, blah. And I did. I went into that deep sort of like, oh man. Now my other channel is safe. It's already monetized. I already make the required amount of content. I'm already ticking all the boxes there. So that's not gonna be affected. But on this channel where it's not monetized yet, I was really like, oh man. But then I sort of sat and had, I sat with myself before I sort of keyboard warriored. And I realized the reality is when we're a smaller channel, we actually don't make that much off AdSense anyway, right? We just don't, and not so much smaller channels, sorry, lower views. When we had the lower view channels, we don't make that much off AdSense anyway. And one of the things I really wanted to point out was what some of our other options are. Now, I'm going to start with affiliate sales, okay? Now, I know some of you are going to be like, oh no, but affiliate sales, you don't make anything. You make like 1%. I can tell you from my own personal experience that the affiliate, one single purchase of an affiliate item that I have on Amazon, wow, that's right in the middle of the screen, isn't it? Let me see if I can just move those GIFs out over a little bit. That's just a little bit right in the middle. Maybe I'm not in the middle. I don't know. Who knows? But what I want to talk about is one single affiliate purchase. Say somebody buys something off Amazon, they spend $100, I get my couple of percent. I can tell you right now, that is worth more than across the average of 1,000 to 2,000 views on a channel. One single small affiliate sale. Because let's put it in real perspective now. I know some creators have really done the math out there and I'm really glad they've done that. So go and check those out. I think, Doug, did you do one where you mathed it out? I think you did. My brain got a bit confused over who did what because I just watched so much. So I'm sorry. But Doug, if you do have a mathed out video or you have one that you recommend, please drop the link in the chat to help everybody out. Because the reality is with us lower view channels, whether we make it into the affiliate program or not is going to mean nothing, okay? Because it could take you 6 months, 2 months, 3 months, whatever, to reach the threshold for your country. Now in Australia, our threshold's 100 Australian dollars. Is it 100 everywhere? It just doesn't matter your sorry, your local currency, but in Australia it's 100 Australian dollars to make it in, to make your monthly payment. Now, to get 100 Australian dollars on my other channel, I need to have I don't even know how many views because it's all mixed in because I have channel memberships enabled over there. I have 30 channel members on varying levels of memberships and I still don't make 100 every month. with, I think I'm getting about 5,000 views a month on average over there. And that's with a decent RPM, right? So like some perspective here. So you go in and you have a look at the affiliates, and I want to really just point this one thing out. There is no point having an affiliate for a lame, dodgy product. All you do is destroy any kind of trust your audience has in you. When you are looking for affiliates for your audience, you need to find a product and find a company that resonates with you. You need it to be a win-win-win. Justin Brown's voice just jumped right into my head. It needs to be a win-win-win. And you have to be able to have a win for you as the person receiving the affiliate income, a win for the company that you're an affiliate with because you're driving actual sales to them. And neither of those work unless it's a win for your audience, where it is actually a product that they want. It's actually a product that is good and that they want. So when you have that, those affiliate sales will mean so much more than AdSense ever will. Now, if you talk to any content creator who has next leveled, like let's just be honest, they're next leveling, and just about all of them say they no longer rely on their AdSense as their regular income anymore. And why? Because AdSense is unreliable. So let me know in the chat if you've been around for any of the adpocalypse that we've had. I've been around for both. And we know, those of us that run as businesses, those of us that have staff, we know we cannot rely on AdSense because at the flick of a switch, AdSense could be turned off. I thought I heard something in here and there's no pets in this room and I'm like, what is that? So we know that AdSense can be turned off at the flick of a switch. And we can't afford to live our lives on income that's unreliable. So this is where all these extra options come in. So yes, affiliate marketing, that's one thing. If you are a person or a channel that has a community behind it, your community can help you. But if you're a channel that doesn't have a community, that should be your first goal. It shouldn't be trying to get into AdSense. It shouldn't be like, oh, let's jump through all these hoops. It should be about building the right community around your channel, because I can tell you right now, as a person with a lower view channel, with 2 lower view channels, my community on my other channel is what makes the income for me over there, whether it's affiliate marketing or channel memberships. Now you're like, Chantelle, but you said you don't need YouTube, but you have to have YouTube AdSense partner program to have channel memberships. Yes and no. Yes, if you want them on YouTube. No, if you want them anywhere else. Now, I want to talk about Buy Me a Coffee. I've got my link pinned if you want to go and check that out. But you can absolutely, Doug, yeah, Doug's saying here, yeah, February 2018 was the original 4,000 hours was brought in. I was in the partner program and got kicked out because I hadn't reached the 4,000 and had to wait and join back in again and wait to earn my income back. Because in 2018, my other channel was not quite at the 4,000 hours. I think I only had to wait another 6 months, but there were people who were out for years waiting to try and come back in. And that's the thing, like you could just get booted. You could just get booted. I've just realized I haven't said hello to anybody. Zach, it's great to see you. Affiliate can be very good versus AdSense. It can be, if you choose the right affiliates for your audience. And that's the big catch. Now I'm going to scrub back here because I haven't said hello to anybody. I'm just so like targeted in on this for such a change. How different is that? I'm actually like focused on something weird. Dimmy has just shouted me a coffee. Thank you so much.
Yes, it's coffee time. Coffee, 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 coffee. Cappuccino. Jabba. Yes!
Thank you, Dimmy. Very much appreciate you shouting a coffee. I needed to change some stuff in my scenes and now everything is the wrong sizes in the wrong places. So It's great. That was just so much over my face that I couldn't miss it. So that's cool. So thank you, Dimmy. I was actually about to click on Dimmy's face here and say, I am so ready for this. It's good to see you, Dimmy. Livestream Consultants is here as well. Doug Houston in the house. Thank you, Doug. You're a champion. Oh, auto translate is broken. Is it? It can be. It can try to translate things that don't need translating. It's a bit weird. We've got Geo Tech. It's so good to see you. Thanks for jumping in. Let me have a look. Scrub down, scrub down, scrub down. Ah, there we go. There's Dimmy Hardoff's coffee. It's good to see you. Living with Parkinson. It's great to see you as well. Thanks for jumping in. So I wanted to talk a little about Buy Me a Coffee. Now you can do it as simple as what just happened here, where Dimmy was able to jump in, click my link and buy me a coffee. And that is awesome. That's the equivalent of a super chat. Now, one thing I want to tell you straight up, I will get more of that $5 from Buy Me a Coffee than I would if you super chatted $5. So if my channel was in the YouTube partner program and you super chatted, I would get 70% of that. Because Buy Me a Coffee, I will get 90% or about 89, 90% of that. So Buy Me a Coffee, take a few percent, and Stripe, take a few percent. Now, the other thing is, I will actually get that money into my bank account by the middle of this week. Whereas with the YouTube Partner Program, where are we at? We're at the end of August. So it wouldn't be until the middle of next month that I would see that on YouTube. Now, it's not to say not to aim for AdSense. Aim for AdSense. Get that as well. But let's get some money into your bank account now. Okay, like that's the thing. Let's get some money in the account now. So I'm going to jump over into the dashboard or my page for Buy Me a Coffee. And I'm going to show you through a couple of things. Now, there's also Ko-Fi and Patreon and all of these other ones. Now, I chose Buy Me a Coffee because I had some friends who had it and they liked it. And it's not to say the others aren't as good. My Fiberific channel has a Patreon. They're perfectly fine, but I wanted to try Buy Me a Coffee for it to be a bit different. So let's jump over here. So this is my Buy Me a Coffee page. Now, when we go through this page, you're going to see, oh, look, there we go. Dimmy Hardoff is his recent supporter right there. Great to see that. So here you can do like the super chat. Oh, that's right in front of my face. And you're right, Doug, I will. I'll have some of my little honey lemon drink. I might open that up a little bit more. There we are. Okay. So here in this section just right here, this is the equivalent of your super chat. You get to choose the amount. You get to choose the dollar. So I've chosen an Australian dollar because I'm Australian. Also, anyone in the US or using US dollars, it's going to seem like an absolute bargain, right? Because the Aussie dollar is in the toilet. So you can go through and do that. But you can also set up memberships, right? So here we have my 3 levels of membership. We have the supporter espresso, and just like in the YouTube membership area, you can specify what each of the levels give you. Okay, so you can have espresso, cold brew, and the full bean supporter. Right, so you can choose it, and that comes out. That will come out of the members account once a month in Australian dollars again. So you can make these choices, right? Now, I will say, I do forget, I'll be honest, I do sometimes forget to share the names of my supporters. So, you know, I do forget that sometimes. Now, the other thing that I also have here is, if you scroll down past the supporters, I have included sponsors. So if somebody wants to do a sponsorship and they want to talk to me about it, they don't have to, but they can. But I've got different levels if somebody wants to be a community sponsor. And again, you can choose what it is that you have. Can I click on that? No, it's not letting me click on it. Where's... Oh, there we go. It's just part of the members area. So you can choose the sponsor sections of what they give, what they get, and you can make that really simple. So if you have a business or a small local company that you really love, oh, thank you, Em, bought me a coffee. Thanks so much. Great to see you. I'll give you the song.
Yes, it's coffee time. Coffee, 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 coffee. Cappuccino. Java. Yes!
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Now, in here, I've also added in, I just added these as sponsor levels, but I've made them very clearly different. So I've got lions and tigers and bears, oh my. And I have added in different levels and obviously different what they give you, what you get for it. But if you like, then there's also proper sponsorships. So if you have a sponsorship deal where you have a contract for a sponsor's piece, yes, I did pick lions, tigers, and bears because I love The Wizard of Oz. Lions and tigers and bears. But you can choose whatever you want. I just wanted, like, I've got my coffee sponsors for the everyday stuff because, hello, I like coffee. And then for the special things, I wanted something a bit more like big and, apex, lions and tigers and bears. Anyway, so you can go through and you can do these. You can choose, this. Wait, how did it show my name? Lol. I'm confused, Zach. Let's have a look here. Were you EM? Because it just shows EM. I'm not sure why. If that was you. I don't know. Oh gosh, my curls are just doing whatever they want yet again. Oh, you thought, Zach, was that you? Thank you so much, Zach, for the coffee. I very much appreciate that. So, you've got all of these options. Now, I'm just doing this with mine, okay? But Buy Me a Coffee does so much more. You can actually have products for sale. So if you are a person who has a digital product, I have to click back through something and I'm not sure what it brings on screen. So I'm just going to jump here while I change screens here. All right, so let's go back there. Let me just see I'm just going to see what it shows in the dashboard area. Nothing bad at all. So it doesn't matter if I show that. I should have checked that beforehand, but I didn't. Okay, so we've got, this is the homepage. So I can see that, hang on. No. Oh my gosh, I've just realized what it was doing and I'm so sorry. I will make sure I blur that. But basically, I'm very sorry. I've just basically doxed everybody. I'm like, oh yeah, that shows nothing financial, and then realized it just showed everybody's email addresses. I will make sure I go and clear that. But I will have to wait until YouTube finish. I will make sure I have to wait until YouTube finishes processing, and I'm so sorry, everybody. I don't even know what to say. That was really stupid. It was just dumb, and I'm very sorry. I'm gonna have YouTube editor for the win, right? But why is it we have to wait till it finishes processing before you can quickly fix something? Anyway, I will get into that in another thing. In here, you can add things to your own shop. Now, if you go and check out Doug Hewson's Buy Me a Coffee, Doug, if you could please link your Buy Me a Coffee. Doug has items for sale. So digital items for sale. So if you are a person who creates PDFs for sale or anything like that, you can absolutely add those as well. Oh, live stream consultants, please don't joke about it. Oh, I feel awful already. So you can totally come in and add some other options for sale as well. So this is where I think Buy Me a Coffee is doing some really great things for creators. Is it not only gives you a members platform that doesn't require YouTube Partner Program acceptance. So you can create your own membership platform. And not only does it give you the option for your own super chats with the coffees, however, it also gives you options to sell things directly without having to build out your own website and pay for your own hosting, things like that. You can use your Buy Me a Coffee. Now, we've got Doug's Buy Me a Coffee link in the chat. I YOLO'd that link. Let's have a look here. I need to, I'm going to go here and go over to, I want to open up Doug's. So this is just Doug's public side. So I won't be sharing anything that Doug does not want seen, that you wouldn't be able to see if you clicked on Doug's. Okay. And Doug, you know, you YOLO'd that, but it legit worked. Okay. So this is Doug's Buy Me a Coffee. And the thing that he has extra up here is shop. Okay. So he has being able to buy the cuppa. He has memberships over here. He has also the shop. And in Doug's shop, you can buy any of these PDFs. So you can go in and you can create things for your customers to buy, for your community to buy. So you think about something that's really relevant and important to your community. And for, you know, like Doug's got some free ones here as well as some paid ones. Now, the other thing that I really love about this is when somebody does buy something or somebody does pay for something, you can actually set up Buy Me a Coffee. My brain totally blanked on the name of the website. Buy Me a Coffee to go to send a post to your social media feed. So I personally choose Twitter. I don't know if we've got any other options there, but when somebody purchases something, it actually posts to your Twitter feed. Now, that's not just big noting and skiting like, oh, somebody bought my practical guide to YouTube feature eligibility PDF. That shows everybody else that you actually have a product for sale. And what is that? And it gives them a link and they can go and check it out for themselves. So, you know, you've got all of these options and it gives you a little bit of like an automatic connection. So it automatically posts it. It's not extra work for you. And your social media following can see you have something for sale. This is optional. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. Doug says, I've been hosting my free downloads as well, testing Buy Me a Coffee and Kit for landing pages. That's awesome. Kit is really great. I will say for small creators specifically, because they have a thing for newsletters, basically, an account. You can choose either the free account or the newsletter account. If you choose the newsletter account, you can have 10,000 free subscribers in a newsletter to be able to send them a newsletter. Now, admittedly, if you use the free newsletter account, the 10,000 subscriber newsletter account, you can't set up a pile of the automations that are available in Kit. You will need to upgrade to one of their other paid accounts. But if you are a person who's just writing an email and sending it, which is what the case is for a lot of much smaller creators, then Kit can absolutely do that for you. Now, I would also say that if you are a person who wants those automations and wants to utilize some of this stuff that Kit can do for you, it is absolutely worth the money. So once you get to that point where you can start paying for some of these things regularly, then Kit is actually worth the money. If you have the following, you need to be earning enough money from your various fingers in your pie, your affiliates, from your everything else about that. And then, excuse me, and you know, all the fingers in the pies, all that sort of thing. You need to be earning enough money from all of those things to cover your expenses. So before you go start paying for like expensive editing software or anything like that, there's so many good free options. You need to make sure that you've got the income coming in. And that's what I'm trying to show you, is that you have options. You don't have to wait for AdSense. And even if you are a person who thinks you will get into the partner program, or you are in the partner program, these things can all be on top of that. It's not this or that. It's this and that. Why not both? I love that taco ad. Why not both? Okay, so you've got all of these things and you've got this ability. Now, Buy Me a Coffee is technically free to use, to set up, to do all that sort of stuff, right? It is free to use. They will take, 5% for your transaction costs, or about 5%. And then depending on how it's transferred into your account, for me, I use Stripe. I don't know if I had any other options in Australia, but different countries have different options. So you can go and check out how you get paid out. Now, Stripe will also charge me a fee. But even saying that, like you think, oh, I'm double dipping on the fees, I'm still getting more for my Buy Me a Coffees and my channel memberships, then I still get a greater percentage. So it's definitely worth looking into. Russell says that he loves Kit. Absolutely. Kit is awesome. I love Kit as well. I think it's a very cool tool. I personally don't utilize it to its full extent, but I bet you do, Russell. I bet you do. You've got so many ways that you're using the data that you have, you've got such a large community that you've got all these extra automations set up. I think it'd be awesome. Karen says, that is cool. I didn't know about Buy Me a Coffee. I had it set up, but I couldn't figure out how to link it to my bank account. Then I forgot to go back to it, so I stopped using it. So I couldn't link it directly to my bank account. I needed to link it to Stripe. So luckily for me, I already had Stripe for other things. I don't know if there's any other, didn't Buy Me a Coffee buy your chair? Yes, it did. It did, because you can set goals. So let me just see if I can open up goals here. Here we go. And it shows my last goal. So I'm going to open up here. So if you've got a particular thing, like I know we've used Buy Me a Coffee to help get, I think we used it to help get Doug to Vid Summit one year. We used it to get my chair. Lots and lots of things. Where is the screen share gone? I've lost it. Screen share, there you are. Okay, so this is the goals page. I just, from the home, I just click goals just here. And this was the previous goal, which is where we raised the money between my two channels to get this chair. Russell says, I use Stripe. I like it a lot. I like it a lot too. I use it for multiple things. So it uses my Buy Me a Coffee. I run my invoicing for my business through it. I think Stripe's great. So here you can just add a goal. And you can specify what your goal is, and then the amount, and then you can click Start Goal. Now, I don't personally have any goals that I can think of right now. So I don't want to add anything in and then, it not be there. But it shows you a percentage of where you're at. People, when they log in, it shows right up on my view page right here. It'll show right up at the top here that, like, we've got a goal and this is how we're trying to do. So let me have a look here. Karen says, that makes sense. So it's different to PayPal. Yes, it's not PayPal. It's called Stripe, STRIPE. A lot of companies use it. It's very secure. It's a great way to organize payments. And again, that is free until they actually process a payment. So I've got one company that I send my invoices to with Stripe, and they pay me a different way. They don't pay me through Stripe. So I can then go in and say, hey, that was paid another way. Stripe don't charge me to utilize the fact that I can send my invoicing through them. But then I have another client who I invoice them through Stripe. Stripe then pays me, and then Stripe take a fee off that. So I've worked out that with the Buy Me a Coffee, it's around the 5% mark. So, have a look into it, dig in and see if you're happy to use it. But I found it to be really simple, really easy, lots and lots of information and data to help you with things. And again, excuse me. Oh, here we go. Doug says, Stripe processes cards. Apple and Google Pay for starters. You're probably using them without even realizing it. Russell says, I'm actually coming full circle and reviving my focus on increasing AdSense. See, I think that is awesome for a start. Like Russell, I think that's great. But I also think it's important to understand that all of these things take a little bit of work to set up. And if you've got different focuses, you need to focus on the thing you've got to focus on, right? So whether it is building a new product or whatever, you need to focus on that. But there's nothing to say you can't do what Russell's doing here and circle back and then build out some more AdSense, build out some more memberships, make some more promises. So prime example, over on the Fiberific channel, my membership, my channel membership had 3 tiers of pricing, still has 3 tiers of pricing. And no matter what people chose, they got the exact same thing. Now, I know that sounds like a really bizarre thing to do. And you can do this exact same thing here in Buy Me a Coffee or Ko-Fi or Patreon or whatever it is that you want. Now, but why I did that was because I hadn't set up members, because I was like, well, no one's going to pay to watch my live streams. They can watch them for free. Why bother? What's the point? And I had a very smart friend of mine say to me, so you're going to make the decisions for your audience. You're going to make all their spending decisions, are you? You're not going to let them choose to support you if they want to. And I was just like, then they don't want to. And like, you know that? You know they don't want to support you? You know that for a fact? That they don't want to support you? And I was like, well, I'm not going to, I don't have at that time, I didn't have the time to give them anything more than the weekly live stream. There was not going to be any extra Zoom calls, anything extra, no extra PDFs, nothing. There was nothing. And I was just like, so they get nothing. And then this friend was like, no, they get to support you and know that they support you. And I was just like, oh, well, then I'll just put in a couple of bucks and they can like a tip jar kind of thing. And they're like, no, you need to give them options. Different people are going to support you at different levels. You need to give your audience the option. They may just say no. They may not be able to, but they may say yes. And when I started the channel membership over on Fiberific and I announced it, I had 20 people jump in that day. And I was shocked. Was an understatement. I had to keep saying, but no, but nothing. I'm not giving you anything. Like, what are you doing? Stop it. I don't understand. And it was, my audience wanted to support me in my weekly live streams. And the same thing here. So I decided to start my channel memberships here in Buy Me a Coffee. And I do have, and I don't promote it as much as I should, but I do have a couple of regular supporters. And what I want to say to my regular supporters, which, let me see, my dog is losing his mind out there. Where is it? My husband's trying to keep the dog quiet. It's so funny. He's like, shh, shh. He's trying to, like, he's quietly telling the dog to be quiet. I don't even know where it's gone. I know, here it is. There we go. Now, I know it's slightly changed since then, since I built this out, and I probably need to rebuild this. But massive thank you to these guys. So with these guys jumping in each month and supporting my channel, I actually earn more from 3 people. I think it might even be 2 now. But 3 people, I earn more than what I do what I would do on any of the views that I get on my channel, and considerably more. So I think this was about $20 Australian a month off the top of my head. And like, to earn $20 a month in AdSense on a small channel that just live streams is like, that's a lot of live streaming for a small audience channel. Like, let's be honest, that's a lot of live streaming on a small audience channel. And so to have these people who regularly contribute every single month also helps me to remember that it's important what I'm doing. It's important enough for these people to send me a coffee every month, to make it a monthly thing. And I know it's not possible for everybody. I know that in this day and age where incomes are not matching what's expected of us to buy in rent and housing and food and all these things, I get that. So I look at that as like, oh my gosh, these people have, in these times of uncertainty, are still supporting me every month. And as a small view channel or low view channel, like what I have here, that is insane. That's absolutely insane. And I know you can do this as well. There will be people in your communities, if you have built out a community, there will be people in your community who do want to support you for nothing more than what you're already doing, because you are helping them. You are assisting them, and they want to make sure you can keep making your videos because you're helping them with buying decisions or support, or just even just helping them feel like they're not alone in a particular feeling. You know, like you look at some of the channels that have a lot of members and things like that, and you think about what they're being offered. And sometimes you'll look at you'll look at a channel's membership offer and you'll think, well, is that really worth it? It is to those people. And you need to not diminish the impact that you have on your audience. You need to not diminish the impact that your choices of your content, the videos that you are making, you cannot undersell that to yourself, because it's only you who are underselling it to yourself. Okay, let me know in the chat if this is in any way helpful. I really appreciate that. Let me just jump back over here. So Russell's saying here that he's also negotiating some sponsor deals. He's just finished Justin's new book on the topic. Sponsor Magnet's a great book. If you haven't read Sponsor Magnet yet, you need to jump in and you need to read Sponsor Magnet, because even if you don't think you're ready for a sponsor yet, it will open your eyes and it will show you so much information about how to get through, how to navigate it. Definitely worth the read. Definitely worth the read. Amazing, your destinations. Great to see you. Great to see you. Let me have a look here. So I'm going to have another sip of my hot honey and tea drink. Honey and tea. It's not honey and tea. It's honey and lemon. Oh, do you know, have you ever made yourself a hot honey and lemon drink and then just sort of over lemoned it a bit? And so it's supposed to be soothing, but it actually makes the capillaries in your tongue just go. That's what I've done. Excuse me. I've totally added too much lemon. She says as she drinks more. Okay. So we've got affiliates. We've got our own external memberships. Now let's jump into sponsors. So before anyone says, my channel's too small for a sponsor, do you think this channel is too small for a sponsor? Have a look at my subs count and my viewer counts. Do you think this channel is too small for a sponsor? Because the answer is apparently not, because I've had sponsors. They were the right fit for my audience. I was the right fit for them. Your channel size does not denote whether or not you can get a sponsor. So you need to be realistic. You are not going to, like, a channel of my size is not going to make thousands of dollars in a sponsor deal, but hundreds of dollars. Yeah. And this is the thing. If you think, oh, I'm going to have a sponsor deal, I'm going to get $5,000. It's going to be, great. You've got to understand that your sponsorship amount needs to be equivalent to around the kinds of views that you're going to have. So this is a micro channel. I get micro views. So I need to be realistic in what I can expect from a sponsorship deal. It's not to say you're not going to get anything. And it's also going to teach you how to work with sponsors. So you're going to learn some stuff. And then you're going to be able to go backwards and forwards. You're going to learn that it's really important. You're going to learn what's really important to make sure is in your contract. Now, I was very lucky. I had some, I had some really great help writing up my contracts. And one of the big things is you do not want to give your sponsor unlimited edits. You want to specify the number of edits they can have and then specify an amount that any future edits will cost per edit, because that will make them really decide, is it worth changing something up? Okay. So, it definitely taught me a lot in that regard. It also, you don't want to have a 1 minute integration on a 2-minute video. You'll need to make sure your video is much longer. You want to make sure that it is a good fit for your channel. It can't be something, especially when you're a small channel, it can't be something that does not benefit the majority of your audience. So you need to be thinking about who your audience is. So Karen here says, I'm researching for a video about creators supporting other channels for work-related information. Is an income tax deduction. Subscriptions definitely will count. Not sure tips will. Now, Karen, this is going to be very, very dependent upon your taxation region. And you will need to make sure that that is clear, because the taxation laws in Australia are very different to the US, very different to the UK. Every country has its own taxation law. So it's not going to be a broad, sweeping conversation if you are going into specifics. So in Australia, in the US, tips absolutely count for taxable income. In Australia, tips count as taxable income. In Australia, if somebody gives you something in kind, so say you're because this is definitely me, right? Like, say you are a Instagram influencer, and you are told, if you hold this $10,000 handbag in your photos and you carry it around and just sort of prop it up and tag us, in Australia, technically speaking, you have to declare the retail price of that handbag as part of your taxable income. So every country is different in how it does things. And so you need to be really, really careful and really clear that the research that you're doing is for a specific country's taxable rules. And also you need to very carefully specify that you are a lawyer, not an accountant. Because while you can look at the legalities of something as a lawyer, you may not understand the nuances of something as an accountant would. So you've got to be very careful there. But I love that you are doing this, because I think that having channels support each other with what it is that they're doing, it's like the old barter system back in place. And I love a good barter system. And, I do think bartering is really amazing. So like, I've just, in the back end there, it's just shown me like everyone's email addresses again. It reminds me that I've actually got to go in and fix that. Oh man. And I scrolled just to show a whole page worth. So I'll go in and fix that. So unfortunately, this will mean that, that the live chat will not be on the YouTube video, because I do have to go in and edit it. And even just blurring something in my video will mean that the live chat is not here. Russell says, in the US, tips under $25,000 per year are not taxed, thanks to recent changes by the current administration. Okay, well, that is good to know as well. So, and this is the other thing, things change. And that's important to understand. So you need to be researching it and say things like, at this current time. Oh, not taxable income. I'm talking about supporting other channels or buying a subscription as a business income tax deduction. So I talked to my Australian accountant about that, because I am a channel member of a few different channels and I cannot deduct that. Even though those channels are relevant to my business, I can't deduct those here in Australia. But it will depend. It will depend on the different countries and things like that. And sometimes it'll depend on your accountant as well, what they do and don't understand. So I'm trusting my accountant. He has not set me wrong so far. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe he also is wrong. But I trust my accountant with that. And I do hire an accountant. My husband, while he is an accountant, he is not a tax accountant. So unfortunately, I don't get free tax advice, which would be so nice, but I don't. Excuse me. So does anyone have any questions around some income options for their channels? Please let me know in the chat and I will read those out. Because understanding that the YouTube Partner Program is not all there is. Based on like, I don't know, have you guys seen some of the comments that people are writing on some of these videos? They're like, I'm giving up YouTube. There's no point. You know, like YouTube is just taking everything. So, you know, it's one of these things where you've just really got to understand the bigger picture, you know, the bigger picture that is income around YouTube. YouTube Partner Program is the small part of the pie for most businesses now. It is not the be all and end all. It is not the limiting structure of income. It doesn't stop us from getting sponsorships, from getting our own channel memberships, from offering paid for services to our audience. It doesn't limit any of that. All it does is not give us the 55% of the ad cut that is played on our videos. Those ads which are there anyway. YouTube just keeps it. Now, one thing I really want to point out here is while I don't really understand why they're doing it, and I'm just a little fish in Australia, I don't understand it. It's definitely YouTube's platform, and they get to make their own decisions around their platform. However, what I will say, as somebody who has paid for my own video hosting before in the past, holy crap, using YouTube to store videos is so good. Now, I don't know if any of you have heard of Livid. Livid is the new Vimeo option out there. They are much better priced than Vimeo ever were. So any external hosting now I'm doing through Livid. Livid are fantastic. So, you know, it is definitely worth looking into as an option if you need video hosting that doesn't have all the YouTube stuff around it. But if you're a small fish and you don't have the income for paying for external hosting, understanding that external hosting is very expensive for video files, because it's not just a case of uploading the video there. It's also making sure that people can watch it on demand, that there is bandwidth enough for them to watch it. And YouTube makes sure that this is the case, that people can always watch your video when they want to watch it. So while I'm not the biggest fan of some of these changes, it's definitely one of those things where I don't get a say, and this is just how it is. And Russell, are you kidding me? Can you cancel it? Because Livid also have a fantastic tool where they call it their love tool, which is hilarious, where you can actually, it just transfers everything over to Livid, including all your file structures. So I would definitely look into that, Russell, and go and check out Livid, Livid. I'm going to grab you a link because they are fantastic. Now, one of the things I want to say about Livid is, can I go Livid homepage? Is this a Livid homepage? It's sent me to my account. There we go. Livid hosting. It is just straight up livid.com. Can I copy link? Copy link as, there we go. No, that is not the link. There we go. Now, do I have a link for Buy Me a Coffee in the description here? I think I do. Let me just check. I don't have my affiliate link for Buy Me a Coffee, just how you can buy me a coffee. There is an affiliate link, but I don't know where it is. But just go and get it for yourself. I don't care if I get an affiliate. Go and check it out. Yes, it's Livid. So I can't seem to grab a link. I'm just going to try, like the link is, it just keeps automatically opening in mine, and my brain is just not in the best place. Here we go. I'll just get rid of library. And there we go. There you go. Livid. That's where you want. But yeah, I would definitely check into that, Russell, because it also redirects all your links, so you don't have to mess around with that. It's very useful. One thing I do want to say is Livid has been created by the original creators of StreamYard, and that their basic whole mission was when they saw, like, they were already building it out, but when they saw that Bending Spoons bought Vimeo, they built out the tool that transfers everything easily. So, you know, it's definitely this, it's a team of people who care about a product, who also care about their community. So if you miss the old StreamYard customer support that you don't get anymore, Livid has it. So different tool. It's not a live streaming tool. It's a video hosting tool. But definitely go and check it out and make your own decisions on it. But if it's considerably less expensive, and you get better viewing bandwidth as well. So not just uploads videos bandwidth, but also the viewing bandwidth. I'm glad to. Oh, there you go. Karen and Russell are having some good chats about channel subscriptions as education. So I sometimes support channels, and I think this may be where the difference is. So for Doug and for Nick, they would be classed as education, I believe. But some of the others I was supporting because they're my friends and I want to support them. So I don't think he could differentiate between them. So I'll look into it. I also know that he did not like me claiming crochet magazines for research on my crochet business. So he was just like, yeah, but you get to keep the magazine, right? You read it, but you still get to keep it. So then that's yours. So I don't know. But anyway. Dimmy Hart says, do you have any recommendations for streaming software? I'm not that interested in OBS. Totally understand. I highly recommend going and checking out Meld, MELD. And also, it's the, hang on. My brain is just not giving me the name. I'm picturing its logos, everything like that. The Streamlabs. So I've actually got my link in the description for Streamlabs. So Streamlabs, they have Talk Studio. So you've got standard Streamlabs, which is the one you download to your computer, all that kind of stuff. But they also have Talk Studio, which is a lot more like StreamYard. It's a browser-based version. And, you know, you can bring in all your guests and stuff like you did with StreamYard. It's also a heck of a lot less expensive than StreamYard. So it's not free. So Meld is free. Talk Studio is not free. But I would say for Talk Studio, I think I worked it out to be, I get a year of Talk Studio for about 2 months worth of StreamYard. So yeah. There you go, Doug. That's exactly my suggestions. I'm currently using Ecamm right now because I love Ecamm. My annual cost is invoice. I just got notified that it was coming out soon. I'm like, do I still want to keep Ecamm when I've got Talk Studio, when I've got Meld? And I'm like, yes, I do, because the Ecamm community, that's what's keeping me, is the Ecamm community and the Ecamm support. I've been having problems with Stream Health. I've logged a service call. I don't know what's happening with that, but so far we haven't had the problems today. So maybe they fixed it. I don't know. So yeah, it's definitely one of those things. Yeah, Karen, and I think this was my accountant's issue as well. He says, Karen says here, my only concern is that information is free on YouTube. So there's technically the subscription is not necessary. Like, and I know on some channels you get extra information and extra access and things like that for the subscription cost. And that's what I tried to explain. But I think that's where you're going to come across issues. Geo says, I use StreamYard when I go live. I like it. I liked StreamYard too. I didn't like what happened to it, and I won't give them my money anymore. And that is my personal belief on that regard. If you're enjoying StreamYard and you're happy to pay, then that's absolutely an option for you. I would say go and check out Talk Studio and give it a test run, give it a trial, see if you like it just as much for less than a quarter of the cost. So yeah. Oh no, they've already said that they won't do that. So they StreamYard got bought out by Hopin originally, and Hopin and StreamYard had a lot of like they worked really well together. And then unfortunately, Hopin owned StreamYard and Hopin sold StreamYard. And the guys who built it and developed it, even though they worked at StreamYard, it is definitely it's definitely a bigger picture there. So I don't know if I would say that would definitely happen, because they're very upset by what happened in the long run. And they did try it. The actual original founders tried to buy StreamYard back from Hopin, and Hopin said, no, we're going to sell it to Bending Spoons. And so I think that the original guys are going to handle things very differently going forward. I think they learned some things, but that's my opinion, and you don't have to trust me on that. And I totally understand, because I have, again, no say. It's just my opinion. Karen says, if a super chat is read on stream, it is advertising. I think that again will depend on your tax laws in your countries, because giving a super chat there's no legal agreement that it must be read on stream. Most people do read it on stream, which is why people give super chats, but there's no legal agreement to, if somebody gives you a super chat of X amount of dollars or more, you will, read it. There's no legal standing for people just to ignore it and not read it out on screen. I mean, it still is highlighted in the chat. That automatically happens, but there's no guarantee that it'll be read on stream. I know of channels where they get super chats all the time and they never read them. Let me have a look here. Doug says that's a fair question. So in relation to the StreamYard selling out, I get the impression they learned their lesson from the StreamYard situation. They got burned by Hopin. Yeah. They do see it, but there's no agreement. So advertisement is usually an agreement. Again, different countries, different rules. So, Karen here said that I just renewed StreamYard, other than said fees doubled they did last year, but they did not this year. I'm glad they're not doubling year over year, because that would be awful. So, but yes, I'm glad. Others do see it. That is correct, but it is not legally binding an advertising agreement. So yeah, I think it's going to depend on a lot of things. And I think depending on the taxation of the different countries, I think you'll need to research more into it to make sure that your butt is covered if you're going to make content like that. So yeah. Okay, so we've got sponsors, we've got affiliates, and we've got our own memberships. We did briefly touch on having your own product when I showed Doug's Buy Me a Coffee, but you can actually really dig into having your own products. So there's also merch. So if you want like Fourth Wall or something like that, where you create like a really fun t-shirt with like some sort of in-joke, using your logo, she says, as a person who has a huge amount of merch over on Fiberific with my logo on it, using your logo doesn't always work. Because some people don't want to be a walking billboard for another business. But making something that is quirky and fun, an in-joke, I will explain all my alarms in a minute, honestly. I thought when I hit silent, it would silence my alarms, but it does not. Excuse me. So, you also have the merch and choosing the right merch. So the free merch the free up front cost merch. So your print on demand. So things like Fourth Wall and Teespring and all those sorts of companies. There's a lot of them. You get to choose. I personally have, I went with Printful for many years, and then I moved over to Redbubble. Personal preference, I preferred the products from Redbubble. It's not to say the Printful ones were bad. Some of their products were fantastic. Some of them not so much. And Printful also integrated into my normal website, which I decided I didn't want anyway, so then I de-integrated it. You've got so many choices and you need to choose. I love Fourth Wall now. I think they're great. I really should set something up with them. I haven't yet because I'm slack. But creating your merch around the in-jokes, there's something funny that your community will actually love. So instead of just your logo or something about you, the coffee cup that I sold the most of, which I don't even have in here, was over on Fiberific. Back in the day, my face cam would turn off every 30 minutes for live streaming. And it was annoying a lot. I hated it. But my audience made a joke out of it. And it was basically, you just end up with this chat that just was like, face cam, and you just lean over and you turn the face cam back on, right? So you'd have 50 people, 50, 60 people in a live chat going, face cam. And so what I did was on Fiberific channel, my face cam had like a little border on it. So I created some artwork using that border with a black inside with face cam with lots of exclamation marks and got that printed onto coffee cups. That sold more coffee cups than any of my other fun stuff whatsoever because it was an in-joke with my community. It wasn't just my logo. And I had a graphic designer build me out a really cute, all different sizes of my little Yarn Ninja logo. That one sells quite well as well, not just a single logo, but like all different sizes. It looks really cute. But the face cam far outsold the other cups because it was an in-joke rather than just your logo on something. So when I create stickers, while yes, I do create the ones with my logo, I also created one for procrastination with, so, you know, like, so which it's like procrastination, but you do procrastination, and with all like little bits of crafty paraphernalia around it. So you make it about something that's the in-joke within your community, not just your logo, or something important to your community. Like, so it's got to be something valuable. So yeah, it has to be something valuable to your community. And you're thinking, oh, a coffee cup's not valuable. Do you know what's really valuable to my community? Is zip pouches. And I think I saw one this morning. So this is my little ninja logo that is all over everything. The sheer number of these little zipper pouches, I've got them in 3 sizes. The sheer number of these that sold when they first came out was ridiculous because I know what my audience need, project bags and zip pouches. So I made sure that the company that I'm using for my merch has these things. So you need to be making sure that you're not just making a t-shirt or you're not just making a tote bag when your audience doesn't use tote bags. Think about what it is that your audience needs and go from there. Excuse me. Yeah, I think it's going to be complicated. It is. But I think if you do it, I think it's going to be worth it as well. Russell, and yeah, there we go. Personal coaching, consultation. These are other things that you can absolutely sell. Now, it's going to depend on what your niche is and what it is that you are selling, but you can absolutely make income from personal coaching and consultation or selling your own services to help other people. Now, the other thing to remember is you might be thinking, oh, but, you know, I'm doing gaming. I'm a gaming creator and I don't, you know, what am I going to sell my services as? As a gaming creator, you are editing, you are creating thumbnails, you are doing all of these other things. Like, you need to look at the skills beyond your niche. Okay, so for me, when I first started this channel and I needed to pivot because Fiberific, when I had to stop selling hand-dyed yarn, that lost me a lot of income and I needed to pivot and I needed to make some changes and some choices. And I needed to have a think about what my skills are outside of yarn crafting. And I had to think about all the things because Fiberific's been running as business for 15 years now, or 16, it might be 16. But anyway, all of the things. So I built my own websites. I built, and I keep them updated and maintained. And I learned how to take product photography. I would not sell my product. I'll just clarify right now. I would not sell my product photography skills. Let's be clear. However, I'm really good at maintaining and updating WordPress websites. So, so you need to think about the skills that you have behind your business. And are any of those something you would be willing to do for money? So like Karen's a lawyer. So like she's got some mad skills that she could be selling outside of her YouTube channel if she wanted to. So you've got to think about that from that perspective as well. So it's not just you're a gamer or I'm showing people how to live stream. The skills that I have behind the businesses are also saleable. So that is also part of your business. So if you need extra income and want to still focus on your YouTube stuff, if you're a crack editor, there's a serious shortage of good editors right now. The sheer number of companies looking for a decent editor, holy cow. I'm not kidding. If you are a good editor, like a good YouTube editor, there's so many companies out there looking like for YouTube editors. So hit YouTube jobs, go to LinkedIn, look for YouTube jobs in there, look for editing jobs in there. There's so many editing jobs out there now that there is entire businesses being built around connecting editors with creators. That's the thing. There's just so much need. So you have to be a good editor, right? And this is the thing. If you're a beginner channel or a new channel, if you don't already have another channel and this is your first channel, you may not be the crack editor that you hope that you are or think that you are. So you may not be able to get that work. But these are skills you can continuously practice and build, and your channel becomes your portfolio. Okay? So, it's one of those things. Oh, absolutely. And Dimmy says here, tons of people would pay money to chat with their favorite gaming creator, to chat for a few minutes or to play for 30 minutes. Now, if you're a small view creator, are people going to be willing to do that? Possibly. You're not going to know until you check, until you try. Like, these are the things. Sometimes you've got to, and this is where it gets hard, all right? No matter what you choose out of all of these monetization options, of all these ways to make money, some will work for you, some will not work for you, some will work better than others, but none of them will work if you don't set them up and test them out and try them. You can talk about buy me a coffee all day long. Until you set it up and tell your audience it's there, they're not going to know. They're not going to be able to buy you a coffee because they don't know it exists. So you need to talk about it in your chat. I've got it pinned in my link. Sometimes, if I'm feeling particularly brave, I chuck the QR code up on the screen as well. Because I also know, especially on my Fiberific channel, a lot of people are watching on their televisions. I have over 40% of my audience are watching on televisions over there. Not so much here, but over there. And so sometimes I'll throw my buy me a coffee link up on the screen. And that will mean that when they're sitting there on their couch watching it using their phone or their tablet for buying, for chatting, they'll just grab their phone and QR code it and it's easy. Are you making it easy for your audience to find the ways they can support you? Because if you don't tell them about the things, they can't support you. If you don't tell them there's a merch store, they can't go and buy the merch. They're not going to go hunting for it. You need to tell them about it. You need to tell them they are, that there is a buy me a coffee. You need to tell them whatever it is that you've chosen to try. You need to tell them, do you have affiliate links in your description? I do. You can go and check it out. My Talk Studio link is an affiliate link. Are any of my other links affiliate links in there? I don't even know. Let me have a look. Ecamm is an affiliate link. EVMux is an affiliate link. I'm not sure if Tuber Tools is still an affiliate link. TubeSpanner is an affiliate link. So there's a mix. There's a mix between affiliate links and not affiliate links, right? So, I have links in my description. Have you check them out? There's some cool stuff in there. I've got the link over to my digital assets over on my website where you can get my up-to-date banner art. So if you're still using that stock standard just square one with the middle gap out, you are missing out. Everywhere still has that one. I don't understand. They're not making any allowances for what's showing on TV, and with so many of us having having our views come from television, which for me was a massive eye-opener because I didn't realize how many people were watching on television. But making sure that your channel art works on TV. And also the mobile is slightly changed. It is now curved. And some of the corners and the edges aren't actually showing up on phones anymore. So if you're going right to the very edges, it might be cutting off. And so, this stuff changes. But for some reason over on Canva, whatever, they haven't changed their format for their banner art. And I don't understand why not. I was able to do it. I'm not a graphic designer, but I was able to set it up and make sure it's right. And I don't understand why it's not in more places, I'll be really honest. Karen says here that she's seen creators offer Cameo funny personal videos. It's ingenious. So many people assume Cameo is just for actors. It is not. There are so many people having fun with Cameo. It's so awesome. Livestream Consultant says, yeah, you need to be less self-conscious about promoting yourself. And then, look, I get it. It is hard. And depending on where my brain is at, some days I can promote. No problems, no second thoughts. Other days I'm just like, no, not doing it. No. And I had to sort of get myself into the mindset today because I was going to be showing examples of things that I needed to promote things of my own, which I always have my Buy Me a Coffee up in the chat, or I try to always remember to have my Buy Me a Coffee up in the chat here, but I don't always chuck the QR code, and I certainly don't mention it as much as I have today. Karen says, I'm terrible at asking for monetary support. Karen, you are not alone. So many people struggle, and I think this is why the whole AdSense thing was so easy for so many people. You don't have to ask for anything. It's just the ad plays, and if people watch the ad and YouTube see that they are an engaged viewer, you'll get paid. And that's the big thing there is, and the big trap of AdSense is you don't have to do anything for it after you've made it into YPP and kept yourself in YPP. Aside from those fairly big things, you don't really have to do anything. Which is, but to get those infinitesimal, tiny 0.001 cent per view sort of incomes, but you don't have to do anything for it. Whereas if you have a meaningful product to sell that your audience would absolutely benefit your audience. Fiberific. I keep these scales. I've got 3 sets of these scales in different colors around my house, right? And I weigh yarn all the time. I'll just pull them out like they're just right there. That's where they live. This is I craft here as well. So, these are $25 scales. I can't tell you how many sets of scales I have the affiliate revenue for. It would be over 50 or 60 sets of scales at least. And every time I bring them out, somebody goes, oh, do you have a link for those scales? Because it's something that the yarn craft community uses all the time. You weigh your yarn. You want to make sure you got enough for your project. You got to weigh it before you start. You can't trust the label. How often does a 50-gram skein of yarn end up being 45 grams and you need those 5 grams to make it to the end of your project? You weigh everything before you start. And so it's just something that you don't really think of. Some people are using their kitchen scales. But I have specific scales, so I don't have to worry about wiping it down and making sure there's nothing to mess up my yarn. These are the things you have to think about. What are the things that you're using every day in your community? In your niche. What are the things that you're using every day that could actually be beneficial to your community? Set up an affiliate for it if you can. One thing I tried, because a number of times I get asked about my Yeti, I can't have a Yeti affiliate in Australia. If I was in the US, I could. In Australia, I can't. And I can't tell you how many Yetis people have bought because they saw mine and saw how I got my custom thing printed in on my big one. I've got my my name and stuff printed on it so that it can't be stolen. Like, so that's the one I take places. So, or if I leave it behind, somebody could go, hey, who's Sea Hills or Chills? Your drink is here. Russell said, oh, thank you, Doug. Doug has shared my digital assets section of my website. I appreciate that. Russell said here that the best advice he received in general was take action. Stop just dreaming. If plan A doesn't work, go to plan B until one works. And that is so true. We can think about things all we want. We can educate ourselves all we want. Until we actually stop and take action, it's all just a pipe dream. Let me know if any of you are going to be taking action on anything after today. I would really love to know. I'd really love to know. Russell says, I don't believe in asking for monetary support. I believe in asking for a fair exchange of value given for value received. Just asking for money strikes me like begging. Well, and this is a thing as well. And so depending on how it's worded, and there are definitely people out there who, when I watch their streams, it's so cringy. And I think, oh, am I like that? When I'm saying, hey, can you buy me a coffee? I don't say, hey, can you buy me a coffee? I go, hey, there's a buy me a coffee link here. And so I don't feel like I'm actually, begging for money as such, as letting people know it exists. And also, if you click on that buy me a coffee link, you get to see all of the other options available. And so I think for me, it's a perspective shift in how I word things as well, because I agree with you, Russell. I really don't like going to the streams where it feels like you're begging for money. And I felt like that a little bit when we were fundraising for the chair. And I was really torn. And so I really struggled with that a lot. And I get it. I really do. But I had to sort of flip the verbiage a little bit, and it made me feel better about it. But you've got to do what works for you. Like, Russell, you've got a book to sell, and you've got services that you sell, and other bits and pieces. So you've got to work out what works for you. And if you don't want to do buy me a coffee where people can, super chat or whatever, and you are currently in the YPP. So if you live stream, people can just automatically super chat you anyway, if you've clicked yes to that. But yeah, so you've got all these options, and you get to choose what you're comfortable with. But excuse me. I'm so sorry. Hang on. Oh, goodness me. So you get to choose what you're personally comfortable with, but understand there's a difference between comfort and inaction. Now, Russell, you are an action taker. I'm not talking about you particularly. But having something inside your comfort zone, like not asking for a coffee, or send me a super chat or whatever, the begging for money thing. If that's not inside your comfort zone, but you really do need that income, what is it you're going to do instead? And so for me, I try to make sure that it's there if they want to do it. And if they don't want to do it, it's okay, because I haven't specifically said, hey, can you please go and I need 5 coffees for today. Can you please make sure I get 5 coffees for today? I can't do whatever, blah, 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 unless I have 5 coffees for today. I'm not comfortable with that kind of verbiage. But at the same time, some people are, and their audiences might be okay with it. So there's no right or wrong here. So I agree that you have to do what you're comfortable with, but you still also have to be making forward momentum, which I think is hilarious that I've just talked about making sure there's forward momentum when Russell's in the chat, and I'm always like, no, not doing it. Don't worry, Russell. I see it. Let's have a look here. Karen says, yeah, I joined as a YouTube UK, wasn't on the, on join affiliate. Oh, YouTube UK wasn't on the list of countries. Okay. You can have an affiliate to Yeti on Amazon. I don't know if you can buy Yetis in Australia from Amazon. I'll have to check that, because I've got Amazon US and Amazon Australia. So in Australia, for whatever reason, Yeti won't let people, like, if I buy my Yeti from a dealer in, like somebody who's selling Yeti in New South Wales, apparently they're not allowed to ship it to Queensland. I don't know what the deal is there, but anyway, I will check into that. Russell says here, but you do provide value. Buy Me a Coffee for you is just a vehicle that allows folks to reward you for that in kind. Thank you, Russell. I do appreciate that. So that is what I try to do, is I try to give value as best as I can. Some weeks are better than others, let's be honest, but I do try to give value. And I know that most creators do. And value, what you perceive as value may not be what the other viewers of different niches perceive as value. So you may personally see no value in watching gaming, live streaming, but a lot of viewers do. And so we have to be very careful there as well. Karen says, telling viewers that subscribing is free is important. I've had people say they can't afford to subscribe. I wish YouTube would have a click free to subscribe. It's too wordy. Yeah, I think that the whole subscribe on YouTube thing is murky because of, we have YouTube premium subscriptions, which is pay, versus channel subscriptions, which is free, and channel memberships, which is paid. So it is murky because they're technically, YouTube Premium is a subscription as well as YouTube is a subscription. So it is definitely it's problematic. And you're right, not everybody understands that when they click that subscribe button, it's free, because in so many instances now around the internet, when they click subscribe to something, it's so not free. But you're right. But the other thing that we really have to keep on top of our brain sort of there is having people subscribe to your channel. Once you've hit 1,000 subscribers, let's be honest, let's be clear. Once you're in the YouTube Partner Program and you've received all the tools that you want to receive from YouTube that are behind subscriber walls, which most of them now are down to the 1,000, but there's still a few around that are a bit higher. Once you've hit those, subscriber counts don't actually matter. It's your viewers that matter. It's who's viewing, who's your engaged viewers. That they're what matters. And engaged views versus standard views, because they've just changed the definition of non-engaged views. It is now the first frame of the video count. So we're going to see some crazy stats coming through people's YouTubes coming forward. Is that rolled out now? Yeah, today's the 24th. So I think is it 24th or 27th, Doug? I can't remember. Anyway, and I think it might be 24th in the US, so it'll be tomorrow for me. But they've changed that. So it is, the important thing to check is your engaged views. So you need to dig into your stats. Don't just look at your video, because that's just basically your impressions now or going forward. You need to go and look at your engaged views. And that's what's important, is your engaged views. But until you're in the YouTube Partner Program and you've gotten all the tools that are behind subscriber milestone numbers, which is just mind-boggling to me. I cannot, because this channel doesn't have 1,000 subscribers, even if, because we tried to do this one day, Justin Brown was live streaming after me and I wanted to redirect my stream to his stream, even though he gave my channel specific permission, because he doesn't allow most people to divert the stream or to connect their streams. So even though he allowed my channel to redirect to his channel afterwards, YouTube wouldn't let me, because I don't have 1,000 subscribers. So it's one of those things where subscribers do matter, but they don't matter. And it's very frustrating. It's very frustrating. That sounded very televangelist style. Oh my goodness. And that's what I don't want. I don't want that. And I don't want to sound like that. Russell here says that I have 30k subs, and that's a number sponsors look closely at. So maybe not important unless you're looking at the sponsors. I do know that sponsors are learning that subscribers numbers are not as important, and that they do want to see screenshots of your engaged viewers. I think it's going to depend on who your subscriber, who your potential sponsor is going to be. And there's a lot more sponsors understanding the difference between subscribers versus views. And then, that's about to be inflated. So then they're going to be wanting the engaged views. So it's going to depend on your sponsors. But that is also true. Sponsors care. They want to go in front of as many people as possible, or at least historically. I think you'll find now that there are a lot more sponsors that are willing to sponsor smaller channels, or, not the million play button channels, the under the million, under the 100,000. There's a lot of sponsors looking in those mini channel niches for the good, engaged, targeted views. So if you've got that sponsorship deal or aiming for that sponsorship deal for a specific company that will absolutely match your audience, like every point, I think you'll probably be able to find that they can get those views. I mean, Sponsor Magnet, the book tells you all about it. So, definitely be digging into that as well. Hey, Wallace, it's great to see you. Thanks for jumping in. But yeah, I think you'll find that as time goes on, the sponsors are going to care less about the subscriber number as well, and more about the engaged views. So, and that's already happening. There's already sponsors that are like, yeah, whatever, I don't care about that, but what is your engaged views? Which is why YouTube now gives you the ability to be able to share your limited analytics with brands, so that they can see exactly what's happening on the back end. So did I cover everything? I left my notes in the lounge room like an idiot, honestly. I have a notebook with everything I wanted to talk about. So we talked about buy me a coffees for the equivalent of super chats and channel memberships, selling your own products, merch, we touched briefly on sponsors. I think that was about it. I think that's about it. But my point being, we have so many choices. AdSense is the small part of the pie. Are we getting so focused on this tiny, tiny, tiny part of the pie that we're ignoring the rest of the pie and giving up on our YouTube dreams? Because YouTube have made the goalpost so much further away for some people. If you are already on YouTube and you've just had the goalpost move like me, then you're going to have this whole feeling of, I've got to quickly do this. I've got to hit it by February 1. And if you can do that, do that. Honestly, if you can do that, if you've got the ability to just crack in and make more content, get those subscriber levels up, get those view levels up. You've got 6 months, you've got half a year, then try and do it. This is a live streaming channel. The only way I could do it is if I make some videos rather than live streams. That's not necessarily a deal breaker, but I had to sit down and have a think about my priorities and go and have those. Do I have those priorities? And the reality is right now, no, because most of my time is spent on my day job and then and running stuff with Fiberific. I just had an in-person retreat with them. I'm setting up another in-person retreat with Fiberific coming up early next year. So I've got other stuff, and can I, in all honesty, focus so hard in to do this? I don't know. The answer is not no. It's just I don't know. And I need to think about it more, and I need to prepare and work out what I can do. But the other option is work on other forms of monetization in the meantime. Because the reality is, I don't lose access to anything I've already got access to. I've already got advanced level features. Once I hit 1,000 subs, there'll be a couple of things that I can have in as, excuse me, have all the additional tools that I want to have. On this particular channel, while having shopping as an option would be great, but I don't even know if it's in Australia yet, honestly. So I don't know if it's a subscriber level thing or a location level thing. So yeah, let's have a look here. Russell says, yeah, my latest video has only got 5.8k views with the first 4 days, but I still think the subs represent potential committed viewers. Yeah, look, I probably look at it a bit differently than you, because like I look at those 5.8Ks, I would be the 5.8K views. I'll be digging in, looking at how many of those are engaged views, how many of them are like, what's the percentage of returning viewers, new viewers, and seeing who is somebody who you've already built trust with. So returning viewers is those who you've built trust with. New viewers is those that are new. You want both. You need a balance there. There's no one that's better than the other. But if you want to start selling a product, you have to have already earned the trust, so they should have already come back. And so it's deeper. There's more to it than just those bare numbers. There's a lot more to it. But also, is the first 4 days of a video really indicative? It depends on your channel. Does the views taper off after that? I saw a great tweet from Home Rapid Repair where he had a video that was kind of deadlined, and then at day 206 it did a shot through the roof. So you can't just assume that a video is dead forever, because it's not always. Sometimes it is. It's not always. I do have a be right back, but I think I got everything. I think the biggest thing on there was I wrote that while I use Buy Me a Coffee, there's Ko-Fi, Patreon, so many other options. But I personally use Buy Me a Coffee. Russell says, if you want to get monetized, look up Justin Brown. Justin Brown has some great options. Honestly, he's some great videos on monetization and different ways to earn income. Absolutely, he does. Brand deals are part of the pie. It's an interesting topic. Brand deals are a part of the pie. So sponsorships and brand deals, totally part of the pie. You just need to work out what works for you as your channel and what kinds of sponsorships you can get versus the income they actually bring you. Also, I just want to point out, I don't consider, and this might be a hot take, I don't consider somebody sending you a product for free as a brand deal. Somebody sent you a product for free, and that is cool. If it is a product that you like and that you'll use, that's awesome. You can totally make a video around it. Make sure you say that that video came for free. That is not a brand deal. That is not a sponsorship. That is just somebody sending you something. That's a promo. And so I think it's really, really, you have to be really careful there. And also how you word things. So I've seen people that say, hey, I got sent this thing, this, Apple phone. It's not an Apple phone. Stream Deck. That's more likely. I got sent this Stream Deck to review, blah, 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 blah. But in reality, they actually bought it and it was sent to them because they paid for it. But they made it sound like they've got a deal. And I think that's also a careful line, because that's also misleading your audience. And you do not want to be known as untrustworthy with your audience. The whole goal here is building trust with your audience. And if you start in with that sort of language where it's not clear that you bought it with your own money and it wasn't sent by the brand, because there's two ways to look at products that are sent by the brand, right? One is you were paid to review it, and one is the product was just sent out to a pile of people to review without any income, any contracts or anything like that. Whereas if you've paid for it with your own money, people are more likely to go, well, you actually spent money on that for yourself. Let me look at that. I know full well, I was watching a YouTube video last night about, desk setups, because I'm a tragic, all right? And this dude had these little low line 12.3 inch wide, 6 inch high monitor things under his actual main monitors for like extra screens to have like Slack on one and his music player on the other and blah, 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 blah. And he bought it with his own money, and there was pros and cons and stuff like that. And I went Googling. I'm like, man, I need those monitors. Now, if he had said, oh, the brand sent me these, I would have been more like, yeah, okay. But it's a perspective thing, and you need to work out what works for you, what works for your audience, and go from there. Okay, so shopping's still not in Australia yet. I didn't think it was. Doug is saying the things I should be saying, but I don't. If you haven't already hit the subscriber button, please do so. I haven't hit 1,000 subscribers yet. I'd really like to. I'm nowhere near the watch time, but I'm creeping ever closer to the 1,000 subscribers. So that's pretty cool. Russell says it took me from 300. So this is Justin Brown. Justin Brown took Russell from 300 views and 30 subs to monetized in 3 months. That's awesome. That is awesome. Yeah. Just liked, thumbs up. I forget to do that all the time. And these are the little things. These are the little things that send the signals to YouTube. You've been sitting here this whole time, okay? That's a massive signal to YouTube to go, they're enjoying this, right? That this is cool. They're enjoying this. And so sending all the good signals. Doug says, I got a USB mic that's actually quite solid for free. I did make a review or comparison video on my few hundred subscriber Creator Tech View channel that exists only to safeguard my Amazon videos. Oh, that's kind of cool. That is funny. Only 254 to go to hit 1,000. Thank you, Doug. Dimmy Hard says, I saw a YouTuber get 2 expensive cameras so he could do a review. He could keep the cameras afterwards. In my eyes, he was paid to do that review, even though he didn't get the cash. And that, how do I word this? That's cool if you needed the cameras, right? That's cool if you needed cameras. But what happens if you get sent something, they expect you to review it, even though there's no agreement in place, but it's not something you want or need, and now you've got this, what could potentially be trash that you've got to deal with? Like, cameras is cool. Getting a couple of cameras would be amazing. Having a channel to the size where camera companies just send you cameras, that would be cool. Like, hello, ego stroke for me. Not saying that that's the case for that creator. I don't know who it is. But this is where you've got to be careful. But it sounds like he definitely was clear that that camera company sent him the cameras, and that's important. But if you don't actually want or will use whatever it is that they're sending, is that a good thing? Like, cameras for creators, that's cool. Microphones for creators, that's cool. Personally, there's only one of me, and right now I have 2 microphones set up ready to go with a third one just right there ready to plug in if something happens, right? Do I need any more microphones? Probably not. Would I accept like anything from Rode or some decent quality microphones? Probably. Would I review them? Possibly. Would they get added into my studio setup? Unlikely, as I've got what I like. But it will depend on the individual. It really will. Russell says he's here to admire the chair. Here you go, Russell. There's a chair shot. Oh, my little pillow's not straight. There you go. Because my little cover messes with the magnets, because it goes over the back and creates extra thickness, and the magnet is so very thin, sometimes it falls down. There's the magnet there. But if you didn't have a little custom crochet cover on your pillow, it wouldn't fall down. It just wouldn't. All right. Did you hear about the couple, I think in Australia, sued for millions for telling their views how unhappy they were with their CV? Did you hear about the couple in Australia, or possibly in Australia, sued for millions for telling their viewers how what's a CV? I'm thinking resume. I could be wrong. But no, I haven't heard that one. They should have gotten legal advice before broadcasting a negative experience. I've heard of an Australian YouTube channel that got sued by a battery company, like excuse me. I'm going to be right back in just 1 second. If I could find my be right back screen. There we go. had to run and grab a tissue. I realized I had none here and I needed a tissue. Okay, excuse me. But yeah, they got sued by the company for giving the bad review. But the company didn't win because you can give a personal review. So, you know, or at least in Australia. Again, it's going to depend on the country that they're being sued in. But yeah, it's definitely, it's always tricky. And this is where more advice from Justin Brown comes in. On his particular channel, excuse me, on his particular channel, he accepts, you know, if you want to send him something, that's cool, you can send it. But by sending it, by no means guarantees that he will use it or make a video out of it. You've just sent it to him. You know, thanks. And that means that if something's dodgy and not worth the money, then he doesn't have to make a video about it. So some channels are okay with making negative reviews as well as positive reviews, whereas other channels only make the actual videos on things that are positive. And I suppose that's, you know, there's a line there. Let's have a look here. You can sell the product unless it's really is trash. You could sell the product unless it's really trash, yeah. But then you've got to go to the effort to sell it and get rid of it. So is it, you know, is it, I don't know. It depends on the product. Like, is it worth you going to all that effort to sell it on Facebook Marketplace for the $20? Like, I don't want to deal with people on Facebook Marketplace. We have a rule in this house. My husband's like, let's sell it on Facebook Marketplace. And I'm like, you can sell it on Facebook Marketplace. I'm having nothing to do with it. Excuse me. Russell says, excuse me, I tell potential sponsors that I never say or intimate negative things. That said, if I don't like what I'm seeing, I just don't make the video. Okay. Yeah. And this is the thing. If you have a positive leaning channel, you don't want negative stuff on there. I get it. I personally try very hard to not negatively review things, basically, except for StreamYard. They're the caveat in this thing, or bending spoons, more so than StreamYard. But other than that, I try to keep things positive as well. Or I try to, like, say I'm reviewing some software or talking about some software, I might talk about positives and negatives, because some things are a deal breaker for some people, but not for others. So, oh, it's the RV, RV, not CV. Okay. All right. I understand. Doug says here, I guess the line sits between an honest review and defamation. Yeah, and just because your honest review happens to be in front of millions of people, is that then defamation? I don't know. I think intent comes part of that. A way to cure the free products appearing as if you are shilling for the company, you can have an ethics statement. You can have an ethics statement on your website, and you can certainly make a brief statement. And look, I've got no issues with people promoting or selling or reviewing products. The sheer number of things I personally buy based off reviews of people I trust. I'm here for it, but you have to be comfortable with whatever the outcome's going to be, and there's always a risk. There you go. Russell says, I have a friend that takes the opposite approach in my niche. More views by far, but I'm not envious. Yeah, because like I've got a friend who pivoted their channel, and now it's all just like really in your face, sort of negative, and it's like their goal is to make people upset, so they comment more. I don't like that. I would like, I love reading my comments. I can't imagine the day where I would be like, okay, I upset everybody in the entire world. Let us go to the comment section. No, man, I like reading my comments, even the ones that upset me a little bit if they're a bit rude, or a bit nasty. I still love reading my comments, and I couldn't run a business where my goal was to rile people up negatively constantly. Like, if it happens on occasion by accident, that's different. But if it was just like, that's the plan of the channel, that's how we get our views, that's how we get our engagement, I'm like, dude, no. No, sorry, not for me. But different people and different viewers like different things. And this is why we can have so many channels. I guess one may require approval before we're selling products that brands have made. Yeah, I think it really comes down to whatever agreement, like if someone's sending you products at like just posting them to you and they haven't specified that it's a trial version and you don't own it, and then you sell that. I mean, you've sold something you don't own and you're expected to send back. That's the other thing. Those people that send out there's so many variations on everything, honestly. There's the companies that send out the trial units and they expect you to send it back after you've made your video, but then they don't actually have an existing agreement with you. They've just posted it to you. There's so much stuff. You've got to do what's comfortable for you, honestly. People do love drama. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Even people who say they don't love drama, some of them will still love drama. Not all of them. Russell says, tough getting sponsors for that kind of channel, but it's an approach very well known. YouTube coaches advocates for max views. Yeah, look, I'm more of I try to be useful for as many people as possible. I know my audience isn't everybody, and that's cool. But I think that if I was like negative Nancy on just so much stuff, that would just, I don't know. I wouldn't want to watch the channel. And I quite often look at the content that I make and think, would I watch this? Do I, and it's just like, if the answer is always like, nope, hard no, then who am I making it for? Like, is that audience really the audience that I want? And you have to think about this when you're setting up your channel and when you're choosing your niche and when you're making your strategy for how you're going to grow and what have you. What is the community you're trying to build? Like, do you want a community of really super active, however, very negative people, which would do my head in, honestly. That's not for me. But there's plenty of people it is for and it's working for them. Not for me. And that was some things I had to choose as well. Or do you want like a community of like-minded people who are wanting to live stream or wanting to understand what it takes to build a business behind your channel or whatever it is, or on my Fiberific channel, just wanting to sit and chat with other people who like to craft and not get called grannies. Like, oh, my grandma does that. Oh, I thought that was dead. That is like, that does my head in. Oh, I thought these were dying crafts. Nope. No. There's literally thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of people who do it every day. I don't consider that a dying craft. So yeah. So being in a chat full of people who also agree that it's not a dying craft, that's very good for me. That's very good for me. But yeah, you've got to make these decisions for yourself. You've got to decide what kind of audience you want to have. You want to decide what kind of interaction you have and what kind of impact you want to have on people, and you build your channel around that. If you're a really super negative person and you're putting out negative content and you end up with a negative community, that's not a shock to me. But I do know there's people out there that are shocked. And you're like, but that's the audience you're attracting. No, this isn't the audience I want. Well, then you need to change your content strategy. No, but this is the content I want to make. This is the content that attracts this audience. So you have to choose. Russell says TV news has proven there's a huge audience for negativity. If you're just going for max AdSense income, it's a viable approach. It is viable financially as long as you can handle it mentally. Karen says, so true. The legal channels I watch that play into the drama get a lot of views. They also get hate messages. Not for me. That's the thing, isn't it? You have to decide what is it that you can do day in, day out. What are the kinds of comments you can handle day in, day out? Because YouTube is not a short game. It's a long game. We all know it. Everyone here is aware. YouTube is a long game. And if you want your business to grow, if you want your business to still be around in 5 years, you have to be planning for the long game. And whether that's racing to get your channel monetized, if you can do that, I do recommend you do that. If you can, try. You may not make it, but at least you tried your hardest. And otherwise, don't panic. Like if you don't make it into the partner program straight up, don't panic, because you will build slowly a community of people that can support you with lots of other options without AdSense, by using Buy Me a Coffees, Patreons, Ko-Fis. So for channel memberships off platform. So you can have just an active channel memberships just off platform. The only difference being that in a live stream, they won't have green tags and a little whatever your channel icon is. That's the big thing. You would need to know your channel members' names to be able to call them and be like, hey, it's great to see you in the chat, whatever. And that's only if you live stream. Some channels that have channel memberships never live stream. So that perk is not, it doesn't even register for most of them. So yeah, we have lots of options. We have choices. They all require work and planning and setting things up and researching. But then so does having a YouTube channel. So I'm going to drink some more tea, and yeah, it's not tea. It's hot water with a big squadge of local honey and a squeeze of a whole lemon squeeze juice. Russell says, I keep coming back to the concept of just helping people with something you are good at. That's the same for me, Russell. I'm good at yarn crafting. I'm good at talking when words work. They don't always work. And I'm good at helping people with their business on YouTube, whether it's live streaming, whatever. I'm not so good at making videos myself, obviously. But I'm good at helping other people, so yeah. But yeah, this is the thing. Find something that you're passionate about, that you are good at, and you can help other people. There'll be other people who are interested. I agree with Russell. It's that simple. It really is that simple. Just helping people with something you're good at. Yeah. So we can move into the less financially motivated section of our stream today. I really thought today's stream would be shorter. Not. It's not shorter. The tea has definitely been helping. So, excuse me, I've been AWOL because I've been working on VidSummit, because I work for the company that puts on VidSummit, getting lots of stuff going there. So if you don't know what VidSummit is, you should totally go and check it out. It is a fantastic event where you get to meet and hang and talk with thousands of creators in exactly the same boat as you, or, you know, being able to do all sorts of conversations, whether they're collabs or just talking with people who speak the same language. It's just one of these things where VidSummit is just real. You know what, Doug? I don't actually have a VidSummit thing set up. I'm sorry. But yeah, you just have this amazing room of creators. There's a huge lineup of speakers, and where you can just be in the room learning. That it's just phenomenal. It's the event to go to if you're a creator. Again, I'm miffed. I'm not going. My duties don't require me to be on site. I'll be here. I'll be awake. I'll be working the whole time that VidSummit is on, but I'll just be doing it from here. So, but yeah, so VidSummit is just this phenomenal event. So I had VidSummit as well. That's coming up. I think where we're at 36 days, 37 days until VidSummit, around there. The countdown is on. End of September it starts. So if you don't have your ticket, go and get a ticket. And if you don't have your accommodation, you need to book the accommodation. The hotels around are selling out. There's 2 already sold out. I think we're about to announce that a third is sold out. So like when you go to the website, you can't make a booking on those dates. So that to me is sold out, but it just hasn't been officially done yet. So lots of accommodation is being sold out. So you need to make sure that you get in for all of that. So Vid Summit has been full on. We've got, if you are in Utah, I don't know if you are, but there's going to be something so fun over on Matt's Off-Road Recovery. They're doing a Smash and Dash 250. It just looks so fun. Honestly, it looks super fun. So there's that's happening a couple of weeks later. Fiberific retreat that I just had. I got sick at the retreat, and now a whole pile of people at retreat are sick. That's a glowing, like, yeah, you should come to retreat and get sick. No, it's the first time, but it was quite cold there this year. I don't know if I was prepared for it. I don't know if everyone was. Not everybody's gotten sick. We had about 18 people. It's a very small venue. They're like, okay, next year we need to drop that down a little bit, back down to 16, because 18 was a bit too snug and tight. But in saying that, I do have a new venue on the Sunshine Coast for another retreat next year for Fiberific. So that's a whole new venue, a whole new setup, and we can have 30 people at that one. We can potentially go up to more, but I'm used to running 16 people retreat, so jumping to 30 already feels like a lot. But yeah, so lots and lots happening here on the back end, very quietly. Not very quietly, I'm telling you all about it. Lots of things happening here on the back end. And I'm really excited for all of it. Honestly, there's just so much going on, and I'm super chuffed. And my work has really picked up, and I'm super happy. So, let's have a look here. Russell says, another famous quote by him, you can have anything in life if you want. Oh, sorry. You can have anything in life you want if you will just help enough other people get what they want. You can have anything in life you want if you will just help enough other people get what they want. That's so true. That really is very true. Yeah. Doug's dropping in the Vid Summit links and the dates. Seriously, I have the FOMO I have is real. I try not to be too moany about it, but I'm so moany about it. I really miss going. I got to go once, and holy cow, I don't know if it was worse that I got to go once or that I'd never been before. I don't know which one is worse. Now I know how amazing it is, how like freaking awesome the feeling as you walk in this massive convention center just full of creators and everything's just buzzing. I think it's actually worse having been, like, before I had an idea of what it was like. Now I know what it's like and I'm still not going. It's like how I'm allergic to prawns, right? But I'm actually not allergic to prawns. I'm allergic to the preservative they put on prawns. My dad was a trawlerman. I grew up eating prawns. I know how good prawns are, but I can't buy them anywhere. I would have to go out and catch my own, which so not doing. But yeah, I think it's worse now that I know how good of an event it is, that I'm not going. I think that's definitely worse. Yeah. Yep, that's worse. I absolutely think you should go. Maybe Doug could stick me in his luggage. Oh, so I'd be like, I don't think, no. I really don't think so. Wallace says here, you're very good at helping people with all your knowledge. Really enjoyed the video chat. Thank you, Wallace. I appreciate you saying that. Apparently picking out the cowboy hat you'll bring home is the hardest part. Apparently. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Karen sending the healing vibes. Thank you, Karen. I appreciate that. Appreciate that. All right, my friends. I'm gonna bail. I'm gonna bail. I did go a lot longer than I thought I would be able to. I really thought my voice would go. Thank you, Healing Beverage. I really enjoyed this chat today, and I really do hope that for those of you that aren't yet monetized on YouTube, that you don't feel like there's no hope, because there's absolutely hope. It may not come in the guise of AdSense, at least straight away, but there are other options. You do have other choices. They take a bit of work. They're not so passive. But once they're set up, some of them are quite passive. So, you know, have a look into it. Work out what works for you. Live stream consultants, you still here? That's cool. Needs a giant cowboy hat and a giant drink cup to take home with her. Yeah, yeah. Apparently I do. Oh, thank you, Russell. I'm going to try really hard to get better. So good to see you. Thanks for jumping in, Karen. Really appreciate you jumping into the chat today. All right, my friends. I hope you all have an awesome Sunday night or Monday if you're here in Australia. And I will catch you all next time. Bye now.